If you want to quit your job and make beats full time, you're probably out of your mind. Just like I was when I did the same thing. It's terrifying. It's intimidating. Your family's probably going to discourage you from making that choice. Your friends might talk behind your back about it. Believe it or not, when I got my first major placement, I still had 3 jobs. I wasn't doing this full time. As this is happening, I have my first #1 record, platinum, everything. So I'm feeling validated at that point. I'm like, wow, I did this in just, 7 months. Reality starts setting in. I'm like, why am I not rich? I got a few $1,000s for this record, and everyone in my city's looking at me like either I'm a liar or I'm just a millionaire and I'm not telling anybody. And a year after I had gotten my first major placement, which was a #1 selling album, it was gold within the first couple weeks. It was platinum shortly thereafter. A year after that happened, I still had 3 jobs. Why? Because I needed the money, because this music business, you think people are just drowning in money, and the majority of us aren't. The majority of us are working. Like when you get your first major placement, that's when the real hard work starts. But maybe you're sick of your 9-to-5, your passion for being a music producer is calling you. You want to quit your job or jobs in my case and pursue music full time. You want the time and the space to really give it your all. Maybe you have some money saved up. Hopefully you have some money saved up to make it less scary. So here's the real and kind of sad, but hopefully motivating and instructive story about how I quit all 3 of my jobs, why I quit all 3 of my jobs to make music full time. And shout out to Shah. This was a podcast. This was with my real life brother. Obviously, we're in the same room and we look very similar, even though we're not blood related. We may as well be. And if you're considering quitting your job, drop a comment. If you've already quit your job, also drop a comment. Share what you did to get to that point. Share the motivation and spread some awareness as to what has worked and maybe what hasn't worked. So I have to share this. If you're not a member of the Discord, you can get access to the Discord by joining the Patreon. Any membership that you pay for is going to get you access to there. We're posting samples all the time. Someone just posted a huge sample pack, but I'm posting samples that I made in it all the time. You get access to a vault full of hundreds of samples and drum kits that aren't available elsewhere. This is one of the beats that we made recently just in the Discord. I posted a sample that I made, and this is what someone came up with. Check this out. The link is below, patreon.com/DJPayne1. Hope I see you in the Discord. Now let's get back to the video.
What gave you the confidence to believe that you were going to succeed at this?
I was young and dumb. That's another reason it's great. If you're a young person and you want to pursue a passion like that, don't wait, because you're delusional enough at that age and you have all this false confidence because maybe if you've had a really hard life, but at least when it comes to a passion like a creative endeavor, you have a lot more delusion and positive self-belief at that point in your life. Because if I had waited 5-10 years, 1, I probably would be completely demotivated, and 2, I'd start getting scared, because whatever stability I built up in my life in that interim period, I'm gonna cling to, because that's what we do as we age. We cling to our stability, and it's way harder to do a 180 at that point.
Crazy.
So be young and dumb and take all that naivety and stupidity and run with it. Use it to your advantage.
But being young and naive also tends to bring about more fears. A lot of young people get afraid of other things. They don't get afraid of bills.
Right.
They don't know how to handle all the time failure. So they don't jump out and go skydiving in their career because they're worried about failing. And society doesn't encourage young people a lot of times to go jump off the cliff, go fall down.
Yeah.
So what really helped you to just be able to say, okay, I'm jumping off the cliff beyond just being young and naive?
The truth is, I had a job. This almost didn't happen. I almost just stuck with a traditional 9-to-5. So I'm in school, graduate, decide to try music out full time. And I had a couple part-time jobs as I'm pursuing music, living at home to save money. Then an advisor in a very tiny graduate program recruits me, and they say, well, do you want to get your master's? I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to do this other stuff. And they're like, well, you can just come on as a special student part-time and see where it goes. So I do that because I don't like sitting around and not doing anything. I was so used to just, I was in school, I had all these jobs, and I was like, okay, I can't just sit around and let my brain atrophy. So went into grad school, and they waived the GREs. I'm like, oh, I don't have to take a test that I have to pay $700 for, however much it costs. Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, little did I know grad school was really expensive, but then I got a research position, blah, blah, blah. And I loved that position so much. I was working with kids. It was basically using my teaching degree. As this is happening, I have my first big song, and it's a #1 record, platinum, everything. So I'm feeling validated at that point. I'm like, wow, I did this in just, 7 months. That's a push in the right direction. Reality starts setting in. I'm like, why am I not rich? I got a few $1,000s for this record and bought a new computer so I could make more better beats, bought a chain, paid my lawyer, paid my manager, and then nothing else was coming in. And everyone in my city's looking at me like either I'm a liar, and this, even though my name's in the liner notes, but you know how people are, they're naturally skeptical. So either I'm a liar or I'm just a millionaire and I'm not telling anybody. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm making like $30,000 a year. So not even at this job, because I had 3 jobs, so maybe I was making that much among all 3 of them. But when it came time to graduate, I get my master's degree, no longer have that position. And they're like, well, we'd like to offer you something full-time. So I'm a little older then. I'm like 25-ish. And now they're dangling the carrot, and that carrot is stability, because I want to do regular shit. I want to buy a house and be stable, and be an adult. And so I'm like, okay, music isn't paying. What if I take this carrot and become a regular adult, get a regular job, because I like this career field that I'm in right now. And I said, cool, yeah, I'm interested. They give me the offer, $35,000 a year. I about jumped out a window. I was like, I can't buy a house with $35,000 a year. Even back then, you couldn't. So what I realized was, I'm doing music. I'm not making that much at all. A few thousand, $10,000, $15,000 a year making music, and I'm supplementing that income with all these little side jobs here and there that part-time jobs, music director for working in radio, which crashed and burned, as you know. But I was like, you know what? If with a master's degree, all I'm getting offered is 35, and I could have looked for a new one, but that just kind of broke my spirit and rebuilt it all at the same time. Because I was like, damn, that hurt that it was only, pun intended, that it was only 35,000, but I can do that off music. And if I can make 35,000 off of music, then I won, because I'm doing it all on my own terms. And so that's what I did. And I'm thankful, because I'm made more than 35.
You put a lot of thought into that. That's really insightful.
But it was all coming at me at once, though. It was like time to be I prolonged being an adult for so long, and then it's just all coming, you just right at me. And I'm like, man, it's like high-speed dodgeballs coming at my face. I was like, I got to do something. So I had to think fast, and I said thank you, but no thank you, and I don't regret it. I'm sad that I had to leave that space, but
yeah, man, that's really incredible. Hopefully, when people listen to this, they understand that how big of a decision that was, because you basically, the only way I can say it is, you bet on yourself.
Right.
And you bet on yourself. This is where the being young and naive, you bet on yourself at a time where you could fall, where you were okay. If you fell down, you'd be able to get back up, and it'd be a little bit easier than if you were married with kids and tons of bills and things of that nature.
And it was a recession too.
Yeah. Like I know, but they don't know. Who was the artist that first placed you?
That was Jeezy. That was on an album called The Recession. That's why, ironically.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's super dope. Now, when you say music, you didn't just rely on being a producer.
No.
What other ways did you find to use music to make money?
I was just DJing because I was sick of the rappers I was making beats for having all the fun. So no, it was really that, because the first show we ever did when I was a kid, I was a teenager, and the rapper that I had produced for gets on stage, and it wasn't a great event, but just even having like 20, 25 people there, and I'm seeing him have all this fun, and everyone's like, oh, that was so great. I'm like, bitch, you weren't in the studio I'm in there making these songs sound good. So I started just kind of piecemealing a DJ setup together, and first learned to scratch. And then, just me being present at these spots, people were like, well, can you DJ a set? I'm like, no, did you see me? I only have one turntable. I'm just learning to scratch. And so then I had to buy a second one, and then records were expensive. Thank the universe for Serato. But yeah, I started investing in that because I knew there was a demand for it. But yeah, other than that, teaching music, like I was music director for Oh My for a while. That was one of my part-time positions. Shout out to them. So I was working with the first wave students. I had the radio. That didn't pay shit, but I was still doing it. It was fun. I think it maybe kind of helped my reach a little bit. It was a signal boost. So I was always doing something music related. It was all, but I wanted it all to be music related. I didn't want to, make music and then say, well, I'm going to be a graphic designer, because that's just going to distract me from the core of what my spirit wants me to do.
Since we're headed in that direction,
Uh-oh.
you basically are talking about the vision you had and being able to stay disciplined as far as your vision. So let's go back a little bit. What was your overall vision for music? Was it just literally, I want make music, buy a house? Was that just the overall vision? Or what was when you first started this?
At the time. But, I was young, so I didn't really, those old Nintendo games where there's a map and you're going to different levels, and certain levels are blacked out.
GTA still has that.
Okay. Yeah. So if you don't pass the third level, you can't see what's coming next. So that was kind of what it was. I had to get to the next level, and then I had a clearer vision, and then I just got more clarity. And I guess that's just a metaphor for life in general. But yeah, for me, it was like I wanted the house. I didn't know how to get there. So then when I got to, if level 5 was the house, I was at level 2. So I get to level 3, which is creating stable income and building lines of credit and that type of thing. And then the next level is actually figuring out what the whole process is to getting a house. And then I get the house, and it's like, oh, I actually have to remodel things and so then that's a new level of learning. And then once I get to that point, I'm like, I don't like the way this house is decorated. So it's just one thing after another, but you have to get there in order to really understand what the next step is.
Music bought you a house, right? You're doing all the things that you first said you wanted to do. And yeah, a house is always going to be an investment, and you're going to want to change things. But what is the vision now? What's the vision? What's keeping you going?
There's the creative side, and then there's the business side. And I'm not saying they're entirely separate, but they kind of are, in the sense that the goals are very different. Because I can accomplish the business goal without the creative goal. And the creative goal, like the creative goal is making great music. I want to just, I have ideas for music. I want to get more into producing entire projects for bigger artists. I could do that probably right now, and it wouldn't affect my business goal, because my business goal is financial freedom. And you can have a #1 record and a Grammy and be living out of your car.
Yeah.
So they're very distinct goals.